Hello everyone, welcome to Alchemy IAS. Today we are going to discuss about UPSC CSE Prelims exam which was conducted on 4th of October. Our purpose here is not to impart you any knowledge but to tell you about the skills that could have been utilized to clear this exam. People who have written this exam this year will very well know that any amount of knowledge is insufficient to clear this exam. What you need along with the knowledge is application of that knowledge. So when we discuss the paper today, I may not be even telling you few of the questions which are straightforward, which was direct, which does not require any application. What I will be focusing on those questions which you could have attempted with the limited knowledge you have by applying a suitable logic. So without any further delay, let's start. So let's begin the session. Before that, let me tell you some basic rules. When you are attempting this exam, as I told you before, cutoff is never 200 out of 200. So you need to set up a target for yourself and you should not try to attempt all 100 questions. There is another law which I'll tell you called law of probability. If you have reached to a conclusion where you are stuck with two options, then comes the law of probability. When you find that two options seem to be correct, that means you have 50% probability of that question to be correct, at the same time 50% probability of that question to be incorrect. In such cases, my strong advice to all of you is to attempt all those questions. So with this thought, I will be explaining you how can you reach at least till the stage of 50-50 and then make an informed guess. So the first question in set B is from Science and Technology. With reference to carbon nanotubes, there are 4 statements. Now, whether to attempt this question or not is the first thing that should occur into your mind. If you are a science freak, you are well versed with these terms, definitely you should go for it. Even if you are not well versed with these kind of terminologies, still we can see how we can reach to at least a 50-50 situation. So let's have a look at the statements. They can be used as carriers of drugs and antigens in the human body. Now, in the past few months, you may have come across a term called nano drug delivery. So going with this kind of information that you have, statement 1 looks to be true. Let's have a look at statement 2. They can be made into artificial blood capillaries. As of now, let's park it. We have not heard about such things. They can be used in biochemical sensors. Again, something we may not have heard of. Last, carbon nanotubes are biodegradable. This statement looks correct because anything that is injected into our body, more biodegradable it is, better it is for us. You may have heard about the terms like biodegradable stunts to be manufactured by some companies. So this makes statement 4 as correct. So with this information, we can rule out option A and B. Thus, we have reached to a situation of 50-50, C and D. And with these C and D, option 2 is the decision maker. Now, if you know this information, you can go for option D. But even if you don't know, at least mark anything out of C and D. In this particular case, option D is the right answer. Carbon nanotubes can be made into artificial blood capillaries for an injured part of the human body. And the second question is, consider the following statements. Spraying pesticides on a crop field, inspecting the craters of active volcano, and collecting breath samples from spouting whales. At the present level of technology, which can be successfully carried out using drones. Now in this part, you can logically derive statement 1 and statement to be true. But the catch lies in this part, statement 3. Now, even if you don't know about statement 3, you can reach the level of 50-50 with the help of options. In this case, only option A and option D can be the two possibilities. Now, if you have read somewhere or if you have applied your mind, you can come across the point that drones can also be used for collecting breath samples from spouting whales. So, option D turns out to be correct option in this case. Next. Question number 3. Something which most of us would not have come across. In this case, probably the best advice would have been to leave this question. But even in case you wanted to try that, by looking at the statements that has been given, you could have easily ruled out option 1 and option 2. I am sure with your science and technology current affairs, you could have come across these terms, Voyager 2 and New Horizons. That could have been easily eliminated. So that leaves you with option C and option D. And the correct answer in this case is option D, that is evolved Lisa. Next. Question number 4, again from science and technology. Genetic changes can be introduced in the cells that produce eggs or sperms. A person's genome can be edited before birth at early embryonic stage. Human-induced pluripotent stem cells can be injected into the embryo of a pig. Now, in this statement 1 looks to be true. I think with the application of your mind and with your previous knowledge, you can easily follow statement 1. Statement 2 is a little doubtful. So as of now, you can leave statement 2. Now focus on statement 3. Here they are saying can be injected. They are not saying whether it has been done, whether it should be done. It can be injected. So this can word makes this statement true in a logical manner. If you have the knowledge, perfect. But yes, most of us would not have come across these kind of information. So conclusively, we cannot say whether it is true or not. But with this word can be injected, we can come to a logical possibility that statement 3 can be true. And with this 1 and 3 to be part of only option D turns out to be the correct options in this case. Next question, again, lot of talks about vaccine and all was going on because of COVID. So they asked a question about conjugate vaccines. Again, when you look at the statements, even if you have not heard about this conjugate vaccines, PCVs, look at the statements 3. The vaccines have no side effect. This statement was good enough for you to reach to a conclusion or to a 50-50 stage. Once 3 is ruled out, that means your option lies with 1 only and 1 and 2, either option A or option B. Now let's have a look at option B. Dependence on antibiotics that are not effective against drug-resistant bacteria can be reduced. This statement also looks to be correct. With that thought, option B turns out to be the correct option in this case. Next. Public key infrastructure. Now most of you would have got confused with the word public and infrastructure. Because every option in this case looks like infrastructure, word infrastructure is mentioned everywhere, and everything looks related to public. Then how do we reach the correct answer in this case? If you have some information, some knowledge about computer and IT, then those students could have easily reached to the option A. But even if you have not come across this term, then you can follow an approach called odd man out approach. What is odd man out approach? All these 3 options are belonging to a particular set of infrastructure which is related to public. whether it is health sector, whether it is education, telecommunication, directly to the public, which is affecting common people. Digital security infrastructure, which is standing out from the group. So with that possibility, you could have reached to the option A, which turns out to be the correct options. Next. Question 7, difference between plant and animal cells. In this option again, if you read statement 2, plant cells do not have plasma membrane, unlike animal cells, which do. Plant cells do have plasma membrane. So statement 2 could have been easily ruled out. So once statement 2 is ruled out, you are left with either option C and option A. Again a 50-50 situation, answer lies in statement 3. Mature plant cells has one large vacuole, while animal cells has many small vacuoles, which is a true statement. So yes, some of you may not be aware, but still when you have to choose between option A and C, either you could have marked A or C, whatever. But the right option in this case is C. But at least follow 50-50 approach. If you have reached till 50-50, mark that question. Next. Reasons for exposure to benzene pollution. If you are not sure about it, you could have simply left this question. Because in this case, only statement 1 looks to be correct. But statement 1 is not leading me to a 50-50 situation. There are 3 options with statement 1. If you have information, then you could have attempted this question. In this case, the right option turns out to be option D. All these sources are cause of benzene pollution. Next. If another global, this is application based question. People who have studied economy well, people who have studied polity well, they could have fared well in this exam, because polity questions and economy questions were application based. Some of them were direct, some of them were very simple. And one such question is question 9, which is application based. If another global financial crisis happens, which of the following policies are most likely to give some immunity to India? Understand one thing. If global financial crisis happen, it will lead to lot of volatility. It will lead to lot of uncertainty. So our policy should be to reduce the volatility. How can we do that? Look at statement 1. Not depending on short-term foreign borrowings. If there is a global financial instability, crisis, then we should not depend on the short-term foreign borrowings. So that turns out to be a true option. So option 1 is correct. Let's look at other. Opening up to more foreign banks. Opening up to more foreign banks will increase our volatility, uncertainty more. So we should not go for option 2. Maintaining full capital account convertibility. Again, it will lead to the same result. More volatility, more uncertainty. So in this case, option 1 turns out to be the correct option. Next. If you withdraw rupee 1 lakh in cash from your demand deposit, what will happen to the AMS, aggregate money supply? Now the key word in this case was immediate effect. If you would have focused on immediate effect, you could have reached to the answer of this question. Why immediate holds significance? If you miss that word, then you would have thought, okay, if I withdrawn 1 lakh rupees from the bank, then I would invest it somewhere, then another person will get money, then it may go to someone else. So it will have a multiplier effect. Money supply may increase. But when you look at the word immediate, immediately it will not happen. So first you have to look at word immediate, and then you also need to know what is the meaning of aggregate money supply, AMS. So in your economy classes, you would have heard that AMS refers to M3. M3 is currency with public plus demand and time deposits with the bank. So when this demand deposit has been taken away from the bank, so it has been taken away from the demand deposit and transferred to the currency with public. Overall net effect is 0. So AMS will remain unchanged. Next. Now there are some questions from the history which were of the type that either you know it or you don't know it. They were not meant to be experimented. One such question is this: paramitas. I will not go into explanation part. If you know it, simply attend that perfections. Option C is the right answer in this case. There is no application of anything. If you know, put it. If you don't, leave it. As simple as that. Next. Rakhma Bai case of 1884 revolved around. Now again, you may not have heard about this case, Rakhma Bai, or this is also called as Rukhma Bai. But you could have got some hint from the word 1884. This was the time, if you remember, if you have read your history well, that Mr. Bal Gangadhar Tilak was opposing age of consent for the marriage. This could have given you some hint that during this period some opposition was going on against this bill. So you could have reached this, the point of statement 2, which turns out to be correct. And another thing, when it comes to women's right to gain education, though you may not have heard about Rukhma Bai case, quite possible that you may have heard about lot of women education movement that were going on at that point of time. And since you would not have come across Rakhma Bai case in the matter of women education, you could have possibly eliminated statement 1. So that leads you to statement 2 and 3, option B to be the correct answer. Next. Indigo cultivation declined. Focus on the word beginning of 18th century, beginning of the 20th century. Okay, this is the key word here. And if you recall, during this time, Germany was rising. There was discovery of synthetic dyes in Germany, which were keeping the profitability of indigo down. So the correct option in this case turns out to be option B. Next. This was a very simple and straightforward question. I hope most of you would have attempted it correctly. It simply says that he wanted to train British civilians for the administrative purpose in India. Next. With reference to history of India, Ul Gulan or the Great Tumult, again something if you know, attempt it, otherwise leave it. It referred to Birsa Munda's revolt. Next. This was a question which required a combination of knowledge and logic. There are name of certain scholars, Panini, Amarsinha, Kalidasa. You may not be aware exactly to whom Panini belonged, who Amarsinha belonged, but still somewhere in your ancient history classes, in your art and culture classes, you would have come across these names. I'm sure for that. So if you have come across these names, you may be aware that during Pushyamitra Shunga, it was Patanjali, not Panini. Patanjali wrote a commentary on books of Panini. So option 1 can be ruled out from that. So now you are left with option C and option B. Amarsinha again is not associated with Harshvardhana. He was associated with Vikramaditya. Even if you don't know, you could have reached in the 50-50 situation of B and C. So you could have attempted it. But in this case, option C is the right option and statement 2 is the incorrect statement. Next. Pro-nuclear transfer. Again, I will say people who have been preparing for civils for last 2-3 years, they could have guessed it right, because they would have come across a term called 3 parents baby in London, which was basically referring to this term called pro-nuclear transfer. Otherwise, it was a little difficult question because it was not in news quite recently. Next. Artificial intelligence. when it comes to artificial intelligence, you can easily reach to the statement 1, 3, 4. Catch lies with statement 2 and statement 5. So with 1, 3 and 4, you can reach 50-50 with option B and option D. So now, what to do with the case of statement 2 and statement 5? Statement 5, most of us may not be able to recall. But statement 2 could have given you some hint that yes, artificial intelligence can be used to create meaningful short stories and songs. There have been many songs which are being created using artificial intelligence. So that gives us option D to be the correct option. Next. With reference to visible light communication, again something, if you are a science freak, if you have a lot of interest in science, then you could have attempted this question. Otherwise, I would recommend you could have left it, because it was not leading us to a conclusive statement. One thing you could have noticed in this case was that it is a long range optical wireless communication. That was the key statement. That VLC is not a long range, it is a short range optical wireless communication. If you knew that fact, then you could have eliminated rest of the option and reached to option C. Next. Blockchain technology. Option 1, all of us, all of you can figure out that option 1 is true. Option 2 also, all of us can figure out that it is not true. So that leads us to a 50-50, option 1 and option A and option D, 1 and 3. Now let's have a look at option 3. Applications that depend on basic feature of blockchain can be developed without anybody's permission. Now this is a contentious statement. As of now, we have not come across anybody which has been recognized which gives guidance with respect to the development of technology based on blockchain. So for our analysis, we are treating option 3 to be true. But the real answer can be known for this once UPSC releases a key. Okay. As of now, why we are going with the option 3 to be correct is that it is not a extreme statement. They have not said that all applications. So that kind of extreme words are not being used in this case. So that gives us a possibility that this statement can be true, because we have not come across any such body which regulates the application of technologies based on blockchain. So with this, we can safely say that option D is the correct option. Next. Again, as I told, polity was a cakewalk in this exam. A parliamentary system of government, very simple, that government is responsible to parliament and can be removed by it. Next. Again, a very straightforward question. Which part describes the ideal of welfare state? Very simple, it is DPSP. Next. Again, very recently we heard the sad demise of Keshav Nanda Bharti, and probably that's why the question was picked up. The question says, statement 1, that Constitution of India defines its basic structure. So it's a incorrect statement. Straightforward question. It was the Supreme Court in Keshav Nanda Bharti case which came up with the doctrine of basic structure. So option 1 can be ruled out. So you have reached 50-50, B or D. Now let's have a look at option 2. Constitution of India provides for judicial review. Some of you may have a confusion that judicial review is not mentioned in the Constitution. But here they are not writing whether Constitution defines judicial review. They are saying that Constitution provides for judicial review. So that's why this statement is a correct statement. So option 2 is the right answer in this case. Next. One common agreement between Gandhism and Marxism is. So all of the statements that are given here are true for Marx. Marx talked about all of things. But when it comes to Mr. when it comes to Gandhism, Gandhiji talked a lot about panchayat rule, self-governance. So from that area, we can derive that yes, final goal of a stateless society was somewhere there in the writings, in the thoughts of Gandhiji as well. So option A turns out to be the correct options. Next. Bureaucracy, again a very straightforward question. It is an agency for implementation of public policies. Next. Preamble of the Constitution, again from the Keshavananda Bharati judgment, wherein it was defined to be part of the Constitution by judiciary. Now that part is okay. Second part is little tricky. It has same legal effect. It has no legal effect. It has no legal effect independent of other parts. In one of the judgment, Supreme Court has also said that it has no legal effect independently of the other parts. So option D is the right answer. Next, gold tranche or reserve tranche. Very straightforward question. Option D, credit system guaranteed by IMF to its members. Next, Part 4 of the Constitution of India. They shall be enforceable by courts? No, you cannot go to court for DPSP. So part 4 is basically talking about DPSP. DPSPs are not enforceable. So option 1 is gone, option C is gone. Option B is definitely true. The principle laid down in this part are to influence the making of laws by the state. Definitely true. DPSPs act as a guiding light for state or executive. So option D is the right answer. Next question. According to Constitution, a person who is eligible to vote can be a minister. Rest of the part is okay. When statement is saying that a person who is eligible to vote can be a minister, here lies the catch. It is not the person who is eligible to vote. Constitution says that for appointment to a minister, he should be at least 25 years old, while age for voting is 18 years only. So that makes statement 1 as incorrect. RPA, a person convicted of criminal offence is permanently disqualified. It's not permanently disqualified. It is P plus 6 always. P means imprisonment plus 6. Once the imprisonment is over, 6 years after that, that person can contest the election. Again, this was in news because of the case of Sikkim Chief Minister. So from there probably it was picked up. Next. Again something very straightforward and in news because of COVID, delay in parliamentary session and all. Statement 1, very true. President can summon a session of the parliament at the places he thinks fit. Second statement, the Constitution of India provides for 3 sessions. That's the incorrect statement. Constitution does not talk about how many sessions have to be there. So 2 is incorrect and 3 is correct. There is no minimum number of days, as you have seen in the case of COVID, that the number of days for meeting of parliament has been reduced because of COVID situation. So there is no such mandate that parliament has to meet for a minimum number of days. But definitely the Constitution does say that there has to be meeting of parliament in such a way that the gap between 2 sessions is not more than 6 months. Next. This is again something controversial. Our assessment says that option 1 is incorrect because it is 6 months, not 3 months. Option 4 is correct because if you recall, there was a lot of controversy with respect to Aadhaar Act because it's what introduced as a finance bill. So from that we can derive that Aadhaar is mandatory for granting benefits funded out of Consolidated Fund of India. And second option also looks to be correct. State cannot enter into any contract with the private corporations for sharing of Aadhaar. So that gives us option B to be the right option. Next. Again, a very simple, a very straightforward question. Rajya Sabha has equal powers with Lok Sabha. Matters of creating new all India services is the exclusive domain of Rajya Sabha. They have more power. Removal of government, Rajya Sabha is not involved at all. Making cut motion, Rajya Sabha is not involved. It is amending the constitution where Rajya Sabha has equal powers with Lok Sabha. Straightforward, simple question. Next. MP led schemes. Again, very much is new in news. Most of you would have easily eliminated option 3, statement 3 in this case. All of you would have studied it, I am sure, because it was so much in news, you would have covered. So you could have easily eliminated this part. So with this, you could have reached A and D as the only possibilities. Now, catch lies with statement 4, which majority of aspirants would not have got into the detailing part. But this is a true statement. So option D is the right answer in this case. Next. Again, a very simple and straightforward question. Which of the categories of fundamental rights incorporate protection against untouchability as a form of discrimination? So it is definitely right to equality. No debate about it. Next. Separation of judiciary. Again, if you have read about various DPSPs, DPSP, one of the directive principle of state policy, talks about separation of judiciary from executive. Okay. Next. Again, FRBM Act was in news because of escape clause being thought by government to be introduced. So with that, FRBM Act became important, and it is as per the FRBM Act that Finance Minister presents macroeconomic framework statement. So option D is the right answer in this case. Next. Again, a very simple, straightforward question. Constitutional government is defined as a limited government. It is the constitution which put a limit on the government. Next. Next, please. Other than fundamental rights, which of the following parts of constitution reflect the principles and provisions of UDHR? 1948. So definitely our preamble talks of lot of things about human rights, about providing justice to its citizens. So preamble is definitely, same is the case with DPSPs. Fundamental duties were not part of constitution originally, they were added into our constitution by 42nd amendment. So with this kind of information in your mind, you can probably negate statement 3 and come to a conclusion that statement 1 is correct in this case. Let's move to the next question, which is about free legal services. There are so many informations given on the screen. I have no idea about this income limit. Now without this information, how can I reach to a logical conclusion? Look at statement 4. All senior citizens. Do you think senior citizens who are earning a crore of rupees per annum or a month, they will require this kind of service, or government will provide them free legal services? No. So you can definitely remove statement 4. That is your option B and D are gone. Now you have reached to a 50-50 stage between A and C. Let's have a look at the other statement. Member of OBC with annual income of less than rupee 3 lakh. Again, I don't know whether this limit is 3 lakh or 4 lakh. But what I know is that in normal parlance, what we talk of OBCs is about creamy layer criteria, which is about 8 lakh rupees. So with that kind, I'm not sure about it, but with that kind of information, I can somehow try to remove statement 3 as well, which gives me option A as the right answer. Next. Question number 40. Many of the things were in news because of current COVID issues like healthcare of people. Almaty Declaration is definitely matched correctly. Talnoa Dialogue, again after Paris Climate Deal, it was decided that somewhere we need to track the progresses which countries are making For this, Talno dialogue was there. So option 1 and 2 are correct. Statement 1 and 2 are the correct statement in this case. So your option A is the right option. Next. This question I will say, if you are not a history optional, if you are not very strong in art and culture, then straight away leave it. Though I have given the answer as B, but it was quite a difficult question to attempt if you have not heard about this kind of terms. Mirasidar, I assume many of you would have heard, but Orang and Banyan were something which majority of you would not have heard. So I would have asked you to skip this part. Still, for your information, option B is the right answer. Same with the next question. If you have heard about these terms, go for it. Otherwise, leave this part. Correct answer in this case is again option B. Next question. Now, this is something where you need to apply your knowledge. Which of the following statement correctly explains the impact of Industrial Revolution? Please focus on the word during first half of 19th century. That means we are talking about a period before 1850s. When this 80-50 words, this year 80-50 become a limit for you, that means you can eliminate this part, railway lines, because I am sure you have heard that first railway line was brought to India in 1853. So this can be removed. Machines were introduced. No, they were not interested in industrialization of India. So this can be removed. Heavy duties were imposed. No, only option is Indian handicrafts were ruined. So fairly a simple question if you could have applied your logic. Next. Similarly, this question is also a little tricky, but not a difficult one. If you could have thought through, you could have reached to some logical conclusion. For example, look at Pallavas and look at Cholas. Option 2 and option 3. I believe majority of you may be knowing that Cholas came after Pallava. So with this you can draw a conclusion that 2 will be before 3. How many such options are there? Option A and option C. In these options you will find 2 is preceding 3. Okay, so now I have reached a 50-50 situation, so I must make an attempt here. Now let's see what is the situation with respect to 1 and 4. That is rise of Pratihara and foundation of Pala dynasty. Again, I assume majority of you or majority of us may not be getting into this much of deeper detail about remembering about year and all. But some clue you would have gotten from the word that it was rise of Pratihara and it was foundation. So logically speaking, if I have to make a wild guess between A and C, I would have said that since Pala dynasty was founded means it was the beginning, while King Bhoja was responsible for rising of Pratiharas. So with that sense, I can say that it is option C, which is the right option in this case. So again, to 50-50 you would have reached easily. After that, you need to do a little thinking. Even if you are not able to do, at least mark these questions. Next. Hundi, very simple, though it is given as part of art and culture and all, but even in economics you would have heard about this term Hundi also. It is a bill of exchange. Okay, fairly simple, straightforward question. Next, Desher Katha, leave this question. Though for your information, answer is 1 and 2, but if you have not come across these kind of terms, don't attempt it. Okay, correct answer is option A. Next, Gandhi-Irwin Pact. This was fairly easy question. If you have read history, you could have attempted it. Invitation to Congress to participate in the RTC. Yes, that is true. That is why Irwin wanted Gandhiji to be on board. So that means my answer will lie between A and B. Withdrawal of ordinance promulgated in connection with the civil disobedience movement. Yes, true. Acceptance of Gandhiji's suggestion for inquiry into probe excesses. No, this was not accepted by Lord Irwin. So 3 is not there. So with that I can conclude that option B is the right answer. Release of only those prisoners who were not charged with violence. That is also correct. Next, Vittal Vidvansak, again something you may not have heard about. But still, I would say that you could have attempted to reach to a 50-50 stage. Because Vittal Vidvansak, from the name appears something like a violent kind of thing. So definitely Gandhiji will not be part of it. Dr. Ambedkar, again, we have read lot about Dr. Ambedkar. We have never come across this kind of journal with reference to Dr. Ambedkar. So this leaves you to option A and B. So you have reached again a 50-50 stage. So out of that you could have put any option, but right option in this case is Gopal Baba Walankar. Next, with reference to history, Kulyavapa and Dronavapa denote. I will say, if you have not heard about these terms, do not attempt. If you want to know the answer, correct option is A. Next, inscription. Again, not a direct question, but something which you could have thought through and reached a conclusion. Since it is about inscription, and when you read the inscription, whoever praises this religious sect and blames the other sects out of excessive devotion to his own sect with the view of glorifying his own sect. He rather injures his own sect very severely. So it is something who is talking about secularism. This question is talking about inscription. So these two terms among the four you can very well relate to Ashoka the Great. Next, fertigation. Fertigation is the combination of two words, fertilizers and irrigation. So when you add fertilizers during the process of irrigation only, it is called fertigation. So with fertigation, you can control the alkalinity. Yes, you can do that. Read the second statement. Efficient application of rock phosphate and all other phosphate. I do not know whether this statement is true or not, but somewhere this word all is giving me a hint that it is an extreme statement. So quite possible that this could have been eliminated. If this could have been eliminated, I could have reached my answer, that is C. So 1, 3 and 4, which is actually true. 3, it increases the availability of nutrients, and 4, it reduces the leaching of chemical nutrients. So 1, 3, 4 is the right statement. So option C is the right answer. Next question. Again something which I would say that you should have skipped if you have not heard these terms. Correct answer is D. These are the major minerals, and you are not even supposed to remember all the things, all the facts which is happening in the world or India. Okay. So my recommendation would have been you could have skipped this question. Next, with reference to OMT. OMT is measured up to the depth of 26 degrees Celsius isotherm, which is 129 meters in southwest. Again, if you are having geography as an optional, you could have had some idea about this statement. You could have then go for it. But then this statement is incorrect. This is not 129 meter, it is less than that. Statement 2. Statement 2, this duration you may not have heard, but this concept of OMT, it was there in use. Because of uncertainty in predictions given by various agencies decide this, weather forecasting agencies decided to use OMT as an additional factor in their model of prediction. And this OMT collected during January and March, it is used as a reference, it is used as an indicator how much rainfall we will get in the monsoon. So option 2 is the right answer. Next, with reference to fertilizer. If you look at these statements, statement 1 looks prima facie incorrect. Fertilizers are still not deregulated by government. They are still not completely market driven. So option 1 you can discard. So that leaves you to the 50-50 option B and C. So that means 2 is definitely correct. Sulfur, which is a raw material for phosphoric acid fertilizer, is a byproduct of oil refineries. Yes, that's a correct statement. Even if you had not known about this fact, you must have heard about the concept of BS4, BS6, and one very important criteria in BS6 was to reduce the content of sulfur and reduce the content of sulfur from petrol, diesel, and that is coming from oil refineries. Okay, so sulfur is a byproduct of oil refineries. So with that, option B is the right answer. 55, India's Desert National Park. Quite a simple question. You could have easily eliminated this option. There is no human habitation inside the park, and could have reached the option C. So option C is the right answer. Next, Siachen Glacier, very much expected because of the turmoil that we have in that area. Again, most of you may not have heard about Nubra Valley, I know that, but definitely all of you may have heard about Aksai Chin, Leh and Gilgit. And if you apply your logic when you talk about Aksai Chin, so east of Aksai Chin means we are moving towards China, Tibet, in that part. So that cannot be option. Same goes for east of Leh. North of Gilgit means we are moving upward from the Gilgit-Baltistan region. Siachen Glacier is somewhere. So all these three options can be negated. So it does not matter whether I know about Nubra Valley or not. But once I have negated all these options, so D becomes the by default correct options. Next question. Again, something which you may not have heard about. So you could have actually left this question, but still if you wanted to attempt, you could have come up with some logical conclusion. What is that? Sthaneshwara. It is basically talking about Thaneshwar, which is in Kurukshetra, Haryana. So option 4 can be ruled out. So at least you have reached the stage of 50-50. And then when you look at Bhilsa, if you have some idea, it is talking about Vidisha, current day Vidisha, which is in Madhya Pradesh. So option A, that is statement 1 and 3 are correctly matched. That's the right answer. Next. Again, a database fact, so we cannot be sure about it, option 1 or statement 1, but we definitely know that Central Groundwater Authority was formed under Environmental Protection Act. Same is the case with third statement. So 2 and 3 are definitely correct. This you could have derived. And 1 we have no idea. But luckily your options were designed in such a way that knowing these 2 statements are correct, you could have reached the logical conclusion. That is option B is the right option. Next. Statement 1, jet stream occur in the northern hemisphere only. No, that's a incorrect statement prima facie. So 1 can be removed. So we have reached a 50-50 stage here. So 2 is definitely correct. Let's talk about 3. The temperature inside the eye of a cyclone is nearly 10 degrees Celsius later than that of the surrounding. If you have read about cyclones, you may know that eye is a zone of calm. There is descending air, there is warmth. So temperature inside the eye is not lesser. I am not getting into the figure. Temperature of the eye is not lesser than the surrounding, it is higher than the surrounding. So this can be eliminated. Option C is the right answer. Next. Again a very simple and straightforward question. Tiger reserves, which one has the largest area? That is Nagarjuna Sagar Srisailam. It is India's largest, not only among these 4, but India's largest. Next. A question which majority of us would not have, a question which majority of us would not have predicted. That is Schedule 6 of the Wildlife Protection Act. Yes, definitely Wildlife Protection Act was in use. Schedule 5 was in use. Schedule 6 recently was not in use, but yes, if you go back some months back, you will find that there was a suggestion by Supreme Court to Environment Ministry if we can put red centers as part of Schedule 6 of Wildlife Prevention Act so as to prevent the smuggling. But our Honorable Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar ji said that no, if we put it in the Schedule 6, then it will disincentivize the production of red centers because it requires some kind of formalities in terms of licensing and all. So, with that logic, we can say that A is the right answer. But again, quite tricky. Majority of us would not have got into that much of detailing of this part. But option A is the right option. Next. Again, something from the ancient art and culture. If you have heard about these terms, Kadura, Chol, any of these terms, go for it. Otherwise, skip this question. Correct answer is option A, ports handling foreign trade. Next. Zero tillage in agriculture. Again, from this, definitely you can reach to the third statement to be true, but that is not taking you to the 50-50 situation. In that case, you have to go with statement 1 and 2 as well, and all these three statements in this scenario turns out to be true. So, option D is the right answer. Next. National policy on biofuels. Now, looking at all these options, how could you have thought how to reach a logical answer in this case? So, your thought would have been that when we are talking about biofuels, we cannot utilize the resources which is being used for human consumption. If you go by that logic, this could have been easily removed. If you can remove statement 3, that means you can easily reach option A as the right answer. Next, a very simple question. Social cost of carbon, it is the long term damage done by ton of CO2 emission. Okay, straightforward. With reference to pulse production. Next question please. With reference to pulse production in India. Now, again a statement with having with so much of data. Let's assume we do not know anything about it. Have a look at statement 2. Green gram alone accounts for nearly half of the pulse production. Now, this statement looks a bit exaggerated because there are so many variety of pulses in India. It is difficult to believe that only one kind of gram can have a share of 50%. So, with that logic, we can safely remove option B, C and D and reach at option 1. Okay, so option 1 is the right answer. Again, I am repeating, I am not giving you knowledge what is Kharif crop, all this data information is not the purpose. Purpose is to tell you that even with limited knowledge, how can you reach a logical conclusion, at least 50-50 stage. Next question. This was a direct statement from NCERT, subtropical crop, 52 centimeter rainfall, required to 10 frost-free days. It is talking about cotton directly. Next question. Solar water pumps. I will say a simple question. It can be used for running surface pumps and not for submersible ones. There is no such restriction on solar pumps. They can be used for running both. Same is the case with not the ones with piston. No, there is no such restriction. Both the statements are incorrect because of this not word here and not here. So, option D is the right option. Next. With reference to cultivation of sugar cane, something which no one would have expected. So, if you are having some agriculture background or from some farming family who is indulged into cultivation of sugar cane, it's a question for those. They could have attempted it. For others, I would have simply recommended to avoid this question. Just for your information, the right option is C, only 1 and 4. Next question. Eco-friendly practices. Again, I think does not require much of explanation. Crop diversification, definitely eco-friendly. Option 2, statement 2 is definitely correct. Tensiometer, this you may have not heard about it, but yes, it is a device which is used in the ground to measure the level of moisture in the earth, so that when irrigation is applied, when irrigation is done, it is not flood irrigation that in one go you are putting whole farm in the water. No. Tensiometers help us to know what is the level of moisture. Then accordingly we apply irrigation. So definitely 3 is also correct. And vertical farming, I think it's a trend nowadays. Many of the people are getting involved in it. It is also a eco-friendly agriculture practice. So option D is the right answer. So next question is about public investment in agriculture. We must know the difference between investment and expenditure. Investment is something which brings return. So look at the 6 elements and think which of these elements bring return to us. Is it MSP? No. It is definitely computerization, which will lead to faster processing, efficiency. Definitely social development. Free electricity supplied to farmers. No, it is not going to bring us much return. Waiver of agriculture loan, again not an investment. Setting up cold storage facility is definitely investment. So option C is the right option. Next, interest coverage ratio. If you know the meaning of this term, then you can definitely solve this answer. Interest coverage ratio in a very simplistic manner means whether a firm is able to service its interest liability or not. In this context, look at the third statement. Higher a borrowing firm's level of interest coverage ratio, that means the firm is having sufficient cash flow to cover its interest liability. Worse is the ability to service it as? No. That statement is wrong. So 3 can be removed. Remaining 2 statements are correct in this context. So option A is the right option in this case. Next. Again, which of the following factors or policies affect the price of rice in India in the recent past? Definitely MSP, it affects the prices. Definitely government stockpiling, it takes away the supply from the market. Definitely consumer subsidies. So option B is the right answer in this case. Next question. This is something data based but could have been derived logically. How? The value of Indo-Sri Lanka has consistently increased. Generally, the word consistently, not always but generally speaking, these kind of statements are normally wrong. But when it comes to Indo-Sri Lanka, anyways, you can see that our relations with Sri Lanka were not that great in the last 3-4 years when Sri Lanka was having a tilt towards China. So statement 1 can be ruled out. Textile and textile articles constitute an important item of trade between India and Bangladesh. That's a true statement. That's a correct statement. In the last 5 years, not Nepal, it is the Bangladesh. Again, even if you did not know whether Nepal is the largest trading partner of India in South Asia, you could have figured out the kind of relation India and Nepal had in the last 3-4 years. So with that, you could have discarded this statement. So option 2 is the right option. Option B is the right option. Next, it was a very factual question. If you know these countries, you could have marked it. Otherwise, there was no option, just to leave it. Next, Kisan Credit Card Scheme. Short-term credit support given for which purpose? Think. Short-term credit cannot be given for construction of a family house or a village cold storage facility. So 5 can be ruled out directly. You can reach to the statement B. Okay, 1, 3, 4 is the right answer. Next. Again, I think not a very difficult question if you are thorough with your economy concepts. Look at the statement 3. RBI has adopted WPI? No, we still use CPI. So 3 can be ruled out directly. So option 2 is definitely correct. Option 1, weightage of food in CPI is higher than that in WPI. Definitely true. So option A is the right option. Next. This is a geography question which some may not have idea, but we could still try this question. How? Mekong river, you may have heard about Mekong Ganga cooperation and all. So Mekong river flows through your areas like Laos, Cambodia, that part. So it cannot flow into the Andaman Sea. So one can be ruled out. So that means we leave, it gives us the 50-50 option. And out of this 50-50, Volga is definitely Caspian Sea. Zambezi is also a true option. But if you did not have idea, you could have still tried this question based on 50-50. Next. Again, this question data based, but logically you could have arrived at a answer for this particular question. In case of all the cereals, focus on the word all the cereals. The procurement at MSP is unlimited. Not possible. Straight away you can discard this. Second, in case of cereals and pulses, MSP is fixed to a level which the market price will never rise. No, market price is independent. There is no stopping on the market price. So both these statements are incorrect. D is the right option. Next. Again, few terms from the economy. If you know the meaning, you could have easily solved this question. Commercial paper is a short-term unsecured promissory note. Very true. Same is the case with certificate of deposit. It is not a long-term instrument. It is a short-term instrument. I am not getting into the technicality. That is the knowledge part. But at least having the idea that it is a short-term instrument, 2 could have been ruled out. So 2 could have been ruled out. That leaves us with only option C because 1 is part of the solution. Okay. And again, as you see, option 4, zero coupon bonds are the interest bearing bond. No. Zero itself says it's not a interest bearing bond. Okay. So option C is the right option. Next. FDI. Again, if you know the meaning of foreign direct investment, and recently there were a lot of news, Walmart acquiring a lot of stake in Flipkart. So that money that Walmart has brought into our country, it is a non-debt creating capital flow. Okay. That investment by Walmart is not a debt to our country now. Okay. So this FDI is a largely non-debt creating capital flow. So with this thought, you could have arrived at this solution. Next. Again, something very recently in the news, especially statement 4. India suffers from overall current account deficit. Here you have to focus on the word international trade of India at present. At present needs to be focused on. So at present we do not have a deficit. If you have followed some newspaper, India is running into current account surplus, not deficit. Okay. So 4 statement can be ruled out. So we reached 50-50, A and C. Now look at statement 3. India's exports of services is more than import of services. Yes, that's true. We are very strong in IT. So that gives us option C as the right answer. Next. A very simple question. Straightforward. Wax test as intermediate refers to grade of crude oil. Next. In the context of Indian economy, non-financial debt includes all of the above. If you know about it, you could have attempted it. Otherwise, you could have left it. There is no such logic into this question. Next. Why some reactors are kept under IAEA safeguards and others are not? Simple reason, because some use imported uranium and others use domestic supplies. Okay. So for them, we have to keep them under IAEA safeguards. Next. TRIMS. Again, TRIMS is something which we do not focus much upon. When we study about these agreements, we focus more on TRIPS, not TRIMS. So if you had read about TRIMS, you could have attempted this question. The correct answer in this case is 1 and 3. Okay. But if you had not read TRIMS into detail, then probably you could have left this question. Next, this was a application based question and a very simple one. Don't have to apply much of the mind also. If RBI decides to adopt an expansionist monetary policy, which of the following it will not do? Focus on this word, not do. Or you can read this statement in a way, which of the following it will do. So for an expansionist policy, RBI definitely cut the repo rate, it may cut the liquidity ratio, but it will not increase the marginal standing facility rate. So option 2 is the right answer. Option B is the right option. 88 was a database question. Again, I do not expect that many of us would have remembered it. So if you knew it, you could have attempted. The right option was option B. Next, this is again little logic could have been applied. In terms of short-term credit delivery to agriculture sector, DCCBs deliver more credit in comparison to SCBs and RRBs. No. The sheer idea of RRBs was, you may be knowing that in RRBs the PSL, priority sector lending limit is 75%. So it's not possible that DCCBs will be lending more compared to scheduled commercial banks and RRBs. Option 2 is correct. The most important function of DCCBs is to provide funds to PSEs. So option B is the right answer. This, I believe, majority of you would not have come across this term, cyber insurance for individuals. Even if you would not have come across this term, still you could try to frame an answer for this question. How? Read the statement 2. It will cover cost of a new computer if some miscreant willfully damages. No insurance companies provide you coverage for willful damages. So if you could have kept your attention here, then you could have reached to an answer. What is the right answer? Option 2 will not be part of a solution. So look at the option. Option B is one such option where option 2 is not there. So option B is the right answer. Next. Again, art and culture history. If you know, attempt. If not, do not attempt. One easy pick in this question was Shramana. This was something you would have come across while studying your ancient history or art and culture. These were not the priests with high status. These were more of wanderers. So when you see that 2 is wrong, you automatically get the answer, that is option B. Okay, again I am not getting into the knowledge part, who were Parivarjaka or who was Upasaka. No. Answer is to how to, purpose is to make you reach the logical answer. Next. Elephants, very much in news because of some tragedies that happened in Kerala. Because of Botswana, there were killing of so many elephants. What information you may be knowing in this part was that among states in India, highest elephant population is in Kerala. No, it is in Karnataka. So 4 could have been ruled out. So now you have reached 50-50 between A and C. And if you have some information about elephants, you may be knowing that leader of elephant group is generally female. So which could have led you to option A. And also, even if you did not know that, follow this statement 3. An elephant can normally go on calving till the age of 40 years only. Even in humans, there is no such limit. You may have come across some women who give birth even the age of 50 or 60s also. So putting this word only makes it an extreme statement. So it could have been ruled out. Next. Again, a simple question. If you know a little bit of geography, in this part, Kaveri, you know, it is in the southern part, Tamil Nadu, Kerala region. So with that, you could have definitely reached Wayanad, Satyamangalam, and Papikonda would have been easily rejected. Okay. So in this case, C is the right option. Next. This I would say you could have left because none of these terms was there in the news. If somebody is a very environment enthusiastic, that could have attempted it. Right option is option A here. Next. Well known for the conservation of Indian swamp deer Luckily, they have given the word Barasingha and you could have gotten a hint from it. Because one of these national park has adopted Barasingha as its mascot, which was very much in news, and that is Kanha National Park. So option A is the right answer. Next, steel slag, quite possible. Some of you may not have any idea about it, but in this case, right answer is option D. Next, again from environment and ecology, musk deer natural habitat. It is option A, 1 and 2 only. Not much of a logic into this question. If you knew it, you could have attempted it. Next, in rural road construction, which of the following is preferred? Again, if you know about this Portland cement and hot mix asphalt technology, they are not that sustainable or environment friendly. So you could have removed this and reached to this answer, option A. Next, coal ash contains arsenic, lead and mercury. Yes, very true. You may have the idea about this. Coal-fired power plants release SO2 and oxides of nitrogen. Yes, very true. And high ash content is observed in Indian coal. All three statements are correct. And I think this was a reasonable question. If you would have read about infrastructure, about environment, you would be knowing these terms. Next, biochar in farming. If you know about biochar, that it has a good water holding capacity. If you knew this fact, then probably you could have come up with the option D as the right answer. If not, then probably you could have thought of leaving this question. Okay. So this completes all the 100 questions. So I hope we were able to tell you how to approach a question, and I am reiterating, none of the aspirant can claim to have 100% knowledge about UPSC examination. The trick is to use your limited knowledge with a logical frame of mind. Decide a strategy for yourself, not attempting unnecessary questions, so that you can reach a reasonable score to clear the prelims. Okay. So with this, we end this session. Thank you.